Welcome to Ceramics with Mr. Bosmo. We're sculpting a bust, and today we're working on some hair. So I'm looking at my hairline shape and sort of drawing that in with a pencil, just getting a general idea of where that hair is going to end up. You may end up changing this as you go, and I think in this video I ended up putting that hairline a little too high up, and I'll drop it down later on. But it gives you a starting point. I'm also kind of just indicating the directional flow that I want my hair to go in, just to give myself a little visual reference, an idea of where it's going to go. And you can see, to begin with the hair, it's just going to be really all about applying the bulk mass of the hair. And I'm trying to apply it along that hairline and not blend it into the rest of the skin. I want there to be separation between the hair and the skin of the face. The hair is a lot bigger than you think it's going to be, so don't be afraid to add quite a lot of clay here. We are going to hollow this out later. It's okay that it's going to get thick. You can see already how large that's gotten. And then as I add the mass on, I start to use my fingers to rake the clay in the directional flow of the hair. Thinking about the way the hair spins out from the crown, how it's, in this particular instance, is styled kind of being pulled back. And I'm looking for any like low spots or indents or places that just feel off, and I'm patching more clay in there and then raking it back with my fingers. I'm also adding a very, very thin bit of clay over the eyebrows here and tapping that into place. Very thin though. It takes just a little bit of clay to make that eyebrow hair, and then I'm using a notched modeling tool to just rough it up a little bit in the direction that the hairs would flow, so up and kind of to an angle. And then here I realized my hairline was a little bit off, so I am moving it. And then I'm trying to define a line where the hair meets the face. So I'm using my modeling tool to define that line and make a hard angle where the hair meets the head. So here I'm starting to articulate the different chunks of hair. So I'm drawing in lines, and then I'm carving one way and then carving the other way to make sort of a rounded trench. And these are going to be all over the head. It's going to depend on the hairstyle you're doing. You know, again, you would want to look at your reference photo. I'm not trying to draw millions of lines all over this to represent every single piece of hair. I'm thinking of the larger clumps and masses of hair and just trying to define those. You know, I can then do a little bit of texture work on each of the clumps to make it look a little bit more hair-like. But honestly, just having those shapes, you can see how much it already looks like hair. We don't need lines to show all the individual strands. If you do that, it's just going to look fake. It's not going to look correct. So I am using a notched modeling tool here to just kind of drag the hair in the direction that it flows, and then I'm flattening that out with my finger. And then afterwards, I'll come back with a brush and smooth it out even further. And there I'm defining that hairline a little bit more. Right, so I'm kind of pulling up along the hair and pulling down along the face to create that separation. And here I'm using a stiff, flat bristled brush with some water to smooth out some of the lines, and it's so stiff I can actually kind of blend and move the hair a bit.